Today we have the 2023 Kia Soul, and it has a brand new look for this year, and it's way more practical than you would probably think. There's definitely a lot more to like about it than you've probably expected, and today we're going to take a look at the exterior, the interior, take it out on the road for a test drive, and check everything out. Welcome everyone, let's take a look at the exterior details of this 2023 Kia Soul. Now this is refreshed, and I gotta tell you, I really do like the new styling updates here. The front and the back are revised for their styling, and take a look at this new front end. It's very sleek, it's kind of modern looking, and you've got LED headlights, LED taillight, or LED blinkers, LED fog lights, and this really low action grille here with the sensor in front. I was not a big fan of the headlight setup from the last one, but look at this. It's a very unique design. It's almost like you've got a dimensional design here behind that. Plus the LED factor is really nice here too. That's optional with the tech package on this GT line, which is the top trim. Of course, we're gonna keep this boxy design, gotta be with the Soul. You're gonna get 18-inch wheels here with this GT line model. And this is the Neptune Blue. What do you think? I think it's pretty cool for this vehicle. You know, it definitely helps it stand out. And as you know, the Soul is pretty small dimensionally. It's only about 165 inches long, which is quite small, but the interior space is way more impressive than you would expect. Wait till we get inside there. You're gonna get these boomerang taillights back here. These really stand out at night. No LED taillight turn signal, but take a look at this dual exhaust down here, or this single exhaust with the dual outlet. I did not expect that with this Kia Soul. Now coming to the rear of the Kia Soul. Again, this is another area that's going to kind of surprise you, just like you'll see when we hop inside. It's a manual lift, or manual opening lift back tailgate, but it's pretty easy to lift up. You've got a good grab handle up there, and we've got this kind of cover slash shelf right here. Plus there's more space back here than you would expect. This is a pretty big backpack, kind of like a carry-on side suitcase type thing. You could fit multiple of those right there. You could even stack them up. We've got a couple of tie downs here on each side as well, and a handy light. This cover can come out, or you can fold it out of the way, or lift it up and pop it out if you want to as well. And then it's always nice to see underfloor storage. Now let me tell you, there's a ton of room under here, plus a spare tire, so you could keep the floor at this height and still have room to throw some extra items back here if you want. Or you can pull this down and put it way down there. So look at that, look how deep this is. So that space can be handy to hide things, or you can just make this a much taller and bigger storage area. This is excellent. One reason you might want to keep it up is because it will be more flush with the second row, but when you fold that down, you get over 60 cubic feet, which is really great for a vehicle of this size. So watch this. I can pull this up, so I can do this one-handed, get it on that top track, and then you've got a pretty flat load floor like that. This is pretty nice. This is definitely practical for a small vehicle. Now on the outside, Kia gives us the smart key system. This looks just like their other key fobs. You've got the buttons on the side and then remote start right there on the back. It's a nice slim key fob, fits into your pocket well. The front doors have a smart key entry and exit, so you've got this button to lock it or unlock it. There's no sensor back here. Then as we come inside, so we've got this little two material seat with the material on the outside, the cloth on the inside, Soul even written on here, and these actually have some pretty decent bolsters right there. Even down on the bottom, you've got some decent bolsters. I've been comfortable in these seats for the most part, and they're fairly soft, a little more soft than what I normally see in a vehicle this size. We've got some options here. So we've got the power adjustment, we've got two-way lumbar, height and tilt, all of the good stuff. So you can actually move the seat up and down and tilt it. Steering wheel is manual tilt and telescoping. We are going to get heated seats on this model, but no ventilated seats. And like I said, I have been comfortable in here. I actually drove this across the DFW Metro. So I was in here for a couple of hours at a time, and I didn't have any troubles. I was pretty comfortable, and I definitely appreciate the option to get the lumbar adjustment. Now when you see the Soul from the outside, you might not expect a lot of space in here. First of all, this is hard touch, unlike the front door, which is totally fine for this class and this price. You got a soft armrest right here, and you actually get better room than you would expect for a vehicle this size. So I'm 5'9", sitting behind myself where I like to sit. That's where I'm comfortable in the front seat. I have really good foot space, and I still have plenty of space for my knees there too. And if you have someone sitting in the middle, there's hardly even a hump right there. Plus you get a couple of USB ports. The only thing, you'll have to rely on the air conditioning vents from the front if you want. And the passenger seat gets a map pocket. Plus in the middle, we still get a fold down armrest. This is nice and soft, and you got a couple of small little bottle holders. These seats don't scoot forward and backwards or recline, but it's far enough back in its set position. And even with the hat, I've got great headroom. That's one big pro to this boxy style. So passenger space back here is actually quite good. Now let's hop inside this Kia Soul. So things are gonna look still very similar, but you've got a couple of large screens in here. I've showed you some other Kia Souls that are a little bit different. You got push button start right there. Over here on the door, so you're gonna get this unique material here. Same thing with this. This is all part of the accent trim on this one. You've got a soft padded armrest. This is not a hard touch plastic. It has a little bit of softness to it if you like to rest your arm up there, and a pretty decent sized bottle holder, but not decent enough for my large mug like that. Just to the inside, you get a couple quick controls like your lighting controls and a way to shut off your auto stop start. Now the steering wheel is comfortable to hold on to. You've got a leather wrapped wheel, you've got these little grips up here, you've got easy to reach and access controls for your thumbs for your audio, as well as for your information display with this one right here, and cruise control, your lane keeping system, all of that good stuff right there. And then that comes with this large all digital display here. But the main thing is that the inside, that little section is what primarily is going to be changed. And this looks very, very similar to what we've seen on Kia and Hyundai before, as far as, you know, all of the information that you can see on here. It's kind of your basic trip computer, a couple of extras, but it's all you need. Then coming over here, take a look at this. So we've got this large screen. It goes all the way across. My first complaint with it is that you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with this screen, but it's not wireless. You still have to be plugged in. The plug is down there, and it honestly kind of gets in the way because it's right in the middle of everything. However, the screen is easy to use, and you have a couple physical controls down here. Very similar layout. I love the layout that is so familiar with Kia and Hyundai, is that you have these shortcut controls right here, a volume knob, a tuning knob, and these buttons, so you can quickly and easily go to something without having to go through a touch screen. And go back to Kia's own software here. Similar layout as well. You've got a lot of things that you can see and do on here, and I think it's pretty nice. We get dual zone climate control down here too. You can make it automatic, or you can control your fan speed by itself right there, sync it up over there, and still some physical controls here too. If I go into reverse, let's take a look at this. So we've got a map over there, and then we've got our camera right here. No 360 camera on this model, but you do have dynamic guidance lines just like that. And one other note about this screen is with this GT line model, we have the technology package. So we have the Harman Kardon audio system. So that's an upgraded audio system in here, and it's not too bad. Down there, like I showed you, first of all, up here you have a wireless charging mat. So this is a shelf that I have not been able to use because I'm plugged in for my Apple CarPlay, but you've got a couple of USB, a USB A and C, and a 12-volt power outlet, and a nice rubber-lined storage mat. Push to start button, our heated seat buttons, and our drive modes, which we'll go through in the test drive. You also get an electronic parking brake and a brake hold button, and I like this extra little storage area right here, or little area to throw like a key fob or something. Very simple like that. Cup holders are a decent size. I really haven't had any troubles with that. They've got little accommodation rings. Right here, this armrest is somewhat padded, a little bit soft. It does not move forward and backwards, and it doesn't move up and down. It lifts, but it doesn't adjust the height, but it's in a pretty good spot for me, and just a pretty good sized bin inside. Kia gives us a glove box. It's not lockable, but it softly opens, and it's pretty good size. Up here we get an automatic dimming rear view mirror. So even in this GT line model, an auto dimming mirror is not standard. You get a flipping mirror right there. Overhead, we've got LED interior lighting and a sunglass holder. And we also get this sunroof right here. Now visibility, this is definitely not as boxy looking as it has been. Visibility is pretty similar compared to other crossovers. Take a look. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this Kia Soul, and a couple big changes here. So first of all, this GT line, well, all of the Kia Souls only get the 2-liter 4-cylinder now. They don't have that 1.6-liter turbo, which was really punchy. But that also had a jerky transmission I wasn't a fan of. This one is fairly smooth. We'll talk about that. It gets 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. Not great numbers, but it's surprisingly peppy and punchy, especially around town. And miles per gallon on this model's 28 city, 33 highway, so that's not as good as what some are. Even some larger vehicles like the popular CR-V and RAV4 can get that efficiency with all-wheel drive, or at least the highway efficiency, and even higher with front-wheel drive. This can only be front-wheel drive, so if you're getting this just for efficiency purposes, you might as well get a small sedan or something else, because it's not the most efficient, even though it isn't bad either. This does have the auto stop start system. You can shut it off with the button over there. And transmission wise, it comes with the CVT. It's their intelligent variable transmission, but it's a CVT. We'll talk about how it drives in a sec. Now, as far as drive modes go, we are in normal mode. This doesn't have a smart mode like you get with some other Kia Souls or some other Kia and Hyundai models, but let's get pedal down here. And it actually gets you going and up to speed much quicker than I would have expected. It's not going to be as fast as the 1.6-liter turbo was, or some competitors with different options, but it's still punchy. I mean, just partial pedal, it gets you going at a decent clip for this size of a vehicle and for this class of a vehicle. You know, they're not known for that, but it's still good enough. And I've driven this on the interstate, the highway, in town, and I didn't ever really have a complaint with its power. Maybe a little more could be nice. Let's go ahead and throw it in sport mode here. So sport mode is going to hold those RPMs up a little higher, give you more power right away when you start to go. It's not going to be a huge change, but as far as the steering goes, this also handles really well. It's got a good turning radius. It is so easy to maneuver in town. Pedal down. And you can get some of the harshness and pulling and rubber bandy effect of the CVT when you really get on it. But for most of the time in day-to-day driving, you don't notice it, or it doesn't bother you. And most of you probably won't even notice it, honestly. It's actually pretty darn smooth. Now, in terms of ride comfort, smaller vehicles like this don't typically have the softest ride, and this isn't soft, but it is totally compliant and totally doable. It's comfortable, you know, there's nothing harsh about it. The way that it handles is pretty good as well. It's just an all-around nice driving vehicle. There is some road noise in here, you know, and that's to be expected. It's not terrible either, though. Driving it across the metro on the interstate, it was just fine listening to music and podcasts and stuff like that. So, to wrap things up with this test drive, the ergonomics are pretty good as well. It's easy to touch the screen. You've got actual controls here. This is a nice clear display in front of us as well, and it's just fairly pleasant to drive. I really don't have any complaints, especially for its competitors. When you compare this to everything else that it's priced similar to, I think it performs very well. So to wrap things up on this 2023 Kia Soul, I like the new facelift here. Let me know what you think down below. I also appreciate the fact that it is more spacious on the inside with the cargo space, and it's got a good amount of features, all for the price. And it's still fairly efficient and just drives well for its class. So if you were in the market for a small vehicle like this, is this something you would consider, or would you go for something else? Drop it in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave your thoughts on this Kia Soul. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.